On this day in history, 1901, President William McKinley was shot by anarchist Leon Czolgosz at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. I really don't get anarchists. Today, I saw a guy eat a Kit Kat bar without breaking it in half first. I'm sorry, sir. We live in a society with rules. Please adhere to them. Live from Wattpad Nation, it's the Corner Booth. Welcome to the end of Season 1. We have done 25 of these episodes, which is insane to me. But thank you so much, Wattpad Nation, for being unbelievably supportive and just incredible with everything that you do as far as retweeting links that Wattpad HQ has been gracious enough to set up for us, or just talking up the Corner Booth in whatever sense. It's been really, really amazing to say, hey, we have over a day's worth of broadcasts that are available, and we're really excited to bring you a second season, which will start the very last Sunday of this month, September 27th. So we are going to take a 2-week break, and I'm just, going to get hopefully have my head on screwed straight by then. So we'll see what happens. And as you can see, we have a ridiculous panel tonight, and that was the big surprise for everybody. Lots of stuff going on tonight, and you're going to hear a lot of takeaways, hopefully, that you're just going to be able to use in whatever writing capacity you choose, whether it's, you're just writing for you keep it in a journal, or you go to the amazing site known as Wattpad and share your story with everyone, which is, always pretty awesome. And I see we have Ricky Pine, Atomic Nikki. He says, whoa, 9 panelists? Dewey Carrot A, first time watching. Hello. Jack Harbor Wattpad. Hey, what's up, man? Lisa Dial, I'm sorry, I always screw up that name, but hello, Lisa. And then, let's see, that's all that I can really see. And I'm very sorry, I know that the panelists, they kind of play on this thread, because I cannot. I can see what you write, but I can't really do much more. Natasha Cupcake 1, hello and welcome. Yes, we love Wattpad too. So, that being said, we are going over to what we call the High Five, and that's just a part of the broadcast where you get to meet this amazing panel. And tonight, like I said, yes, we have 9. It's going to be good, right, guys? It's going to be really good. I'm going to say that it's going to be good. So, this week we are doing a game. Some of you may have heard of it. Ellen DeGeneres made it incredibly popular on her talk show. It is a game called Heads Up. And we're doing this a little bit different because we have to, account for the fact that we're doing this online. And second of all, I wanted to make sure that it was all in the realm of literary elements and Wattpad in general. So tonight we have 2 teams, and I'm going to introduce them to you right now. We have Kelly Ann Blount, and she did this amazing thing over the summer called the Wattpad Block Party Summer Edition. It was absolutely incredible. If you have not checked out that book that's available on Wattpad, go check it out. You'll see not only camera interviews, character interviews. You will see just a huge. It's an unbelievable kind of extension between the writer and the readers, and I can't really explain it better. It is definitely a party. It was fantastic to do, and Kelly, once again, thank you for everything that you did with that. We also have not from Vietnam, but she's in Vietnam right now. We have Camille Eckert. She's back for some reason. I got her to come back. She agreed to come back, which is even more awesome. But it is really early in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Robin Williams said, "Good morning, Vietnam." Yes, right, yeah, definitely. So we're very, very happy to have her back. The person jumping back and forth from Baylor University is Ashlyn McCowan. Hopefully she gets a more solid connection, but she is a 2014 Watty winner. We're really excited to hear what you have to say tonight, Ashlyn, and hopefully you can get a little bit better or cleaner of a feed. And then we have Miss Catherine Arlene, another 2014 Watty Award winner. And she's chilling out with me up in the Mitten, which is if you ever come across somebody from the state of Michigan, if you say, where are you from? 9 times out of 10, they're going to hold up their hand and point on their hand where they're from. And so, find a random stranger in Michigan, and yeah, they'll do it more often than not. we have 2014 Watty Award winner, Miss Brittany Charmentine. And I know that you're doing a boatload of revisions right now, and she's going to kind of, to my understanding, you're going to focus kind of solely on that for a little while.
Yeah, I'm taking
awesome.
a walkcation.
And that's, as long as we get some more stuff on Waverly, I'm going to be like...
You will.
We'll be happy. We have Lindsay Lippincott sharing a screen with Francis Ramos. They're over at Iowa State University, and for some reason their screen's not coming up. Lindsay, can you hear me?
Oh, I see him.
Let me try this one more time.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that they're over at ISU, the home of the Cyclones. And Lindsay does some crazy stuff for the corner booth as far as making sure that we have links and that the panelists are well informed and so on and so forth. Lindsay, thank you for everything that you've done this season. This really wouldn't have flown without you. And Francis, we're really excited to have you. Make sure that Lindsay does not bury you under her lofty bed.
I'll try. I can't promise anything, you know. Tough situation here.
And then we have Aime. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name because I know I'm going to butcher it. I think it's Izare?
Irizarry.
Irizarry. Yeah, yes. Totally wrong. You're in Puerto Rico, yes?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're really grateful to have her back. She will be joining other panelists next season for an entire episode, which will be on poetry. We're very, very excited to bring Wattpad Nation that. It's going to be really exciting. Her and as well as Thomas Bonnick will definitely be on that panel, and hopefully we can scratch up some really, really good poets that use the site Wattpad, because y'all are ridiculously good. And, of course, last but not least, we have Miss Rita Kovac, and she's, man, how many stories are you entering in the Watties this year?
4.
4.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Awesome.
I'm wondering if she's going to get, like, 4 Watty Awards. That would be amazing. So, anyways, like I said, we are going to start this this little game. Like I said, so for Team 1, while they're guessing, Lindsay, if you can time them, they have 30 seconds. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to show you this card. It's going to be a card that looks kind of like this, but I'm not going to be facing the camera because I don't want to know what the card says. Your team has to get me to guess whatever is on this card. And the team with the most points, or does it in the fastest time, will win. So, Lindsay, are you ready to keep time for Team 1?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
Oh, no, I can't see it.
Community.
Hilarious.
Community?
She's on Parks and Rec.
Oh, Amy Poehler.
Yes. Next. Ooh. Right.
Green eggs and ham.
There you go.
Dr. Seuss.
Yes. Next. Ooh, filmed in Nashville, North Carolina.
What?
Filmed in Nashville, North Carolina.
Katniss. Stop.
What? You're going to have to give me something else. Oh, man. The Hunger Games? You can give me like Jennifer Lawrence or something. Come on. Okay, so Team 1 has 2 points. Let's see if Team 2 can do any better. Yes, these cards were written by a third party, so I have no idea what's on them. All right, so for the second team, the timekeeper is Kelly. Kelly, you ready?
Ready.
All right, and here we... Oh, hang on. I'll make it so that you guys can see just my frame. Well, I guess that's kind of cheating, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
They have to squint, too.
Here we go.
Game of Thrones.
What about it?
The author.
Oh, George R. R. Martin?
Yes.
Yes.
You cannot see that.
Shakespeare play.
A Shakespeare play. Romeo and Juliet?
No.
What are the like? Can you give me some of the characters? King Henry the Fifth. Midsummer Night's Dream.
No, it's a tragedy.
It's a tragedy. He kills his wife.
Time's up.
Othello.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
High school. Yes.
Yes. Good job, everybody. So it is a tie game. I'm just going to leave it that way. We will continue that game in season 2 and hopefully have a little bit better way of doing it. But yes, we are going over to the portion of the broadcast, in my opinion, the best part of the broadcast. It's where we put you, Wattpad Nation, in the spotlight. It is what this panel has been reading this week on Wattpad.com. It is called Cream or Sugar, and this is why, because we talk about the cream that has risen up to the surface and just knocked us out of the park and surprised us, or somebody who's fairly well established and we just want to throw a little bit of sugar at them because we love them that much. So I'm just going to start down the line. Miss Rita Kovac, who do you have for Cream or Sugar this week?
Okay, so today it's for J.E. Hallows, who is mostly known on Wattpad for her Captain Hook fanfic. And in fact, her first book in the trilogy is called A Pirate's Life, was just featured. However, I just discovered that she started writing a really cool romance called Rebellious Rogue. It's almost like a story within a story because the premise involves a romance author whose most popular character, a Regency anti-hero called Samuel Reed, jumps off the page and comes to life. I've just started reading the story, but it is so well written that I began caring about the main characters before even finishing chapter 1. It almost reminds me a bit of Austenland, if any of you are familiar with that, and I can't wait to delve into the rest. Again, that was Rebellious Rogue from J.E. Hallows.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Lindsay and Francis, what do you got for us?
All right, I'll go first, and mine goes out to this really awesome person. He has done a whole lot for the Wattpad community for about the past 25 weeks, and his moniker is Nat's a Ninja.
Oh, come on!
And so
This is cheating!
And so I thought that for everything that he's put together, that he deserves a really big shout out.
Well, thank you, Lindsay. Francis, do you have anybody?
Yeah, so this goes out to, I don't know if it's cream or sugar, I can't understand yet the terms, but to Kemet, so that's K-E-M-M-E-T, for his, I don't know, book War Will Reign, which is basically about these two people, or two races who are completely opposite. One, they live for peace, while the other lives for war, and I don't know, it's a really interesting book. I read it a while ago, but I thought it needed some, publicity out
Awesome.
there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Kellyanne Blount.
Hey, hey. All right, so I have a sugar to give a shout out to, and my sugar is The Whispering of Bitter Creek by Little Cinnamon, aka Lindsay Clark. And both Lindsay and myself were commissioned by Universal Pictures and Wattpad to write short stories to help promote their upcoming film, The Visit, which looks super scary. Sorry, my dog is talking in the background. So Lindsay's written a really chilling short story. It's definitely going to give you the heebie-jeebies and send some goosebumps down your spine, and I definitely recommend you check it out.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Absolutely, we will. Miss Catherine Arlene, who do you got for cream or sugar? Once she's done.
Yeah,
No, it's okay.
Sorry about that. I keep forgetting about the mute.
You're fine.
Okay, so my sugar shout out is for Sloan Ranger. She writes a lot of limericks and short stories, but one short story that I read I absolutely loved, and it was called Wally. And it's about a 9-year-old boy who's struggling to survive during the Great Depression in 1933. And back then it wasn't uncommon for children to have to work real jobs to keep their families from starving and themselves. And I think she captured this little boy, who's got all of this responsibility on his shoulders and all this worry that he carries perfectly. I loved it. And he reminded me a lot too of the boy in my story, The Boy in the Woods. And so I definitely recommended it. It's a short read, but it's full of emotion and lots of period details.
Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. And I it's amazing when somebody can bring that period to life. That's incredible. I way out of my wheelhouse. Miss Camille Eckert.
Oh, mine is Jack Harden. Catherine actually introduced me to him, and I thought he was a doll, and I started picking through his work. Jack writes mostly boy on boy, and it's not a genre I'd ever read before, so he was my first dabble into boy on boy. And I fell in love with his voice, and he writes really honest characters that are very relatable to everyone, so I highly recommend checking him out.
Thank you, Camille. Absolutely. And Catherine's like, man, I almost picked him. Almost got it. That's amazing. Brittany Shermatine, who do you got for us?
Okay, so I am going to shout out today the winner of the Under the Sea Writing Contest 2015. It is called The Daring Adventures of Darwin and Cecile, and it's by @CrazyDiamond, and that's crazy with a K. And I'm going to start it out like this. It captivated me from the first paragraph, and I couldn't stop reading. So says our celebrity judge, Rebecca Skye. The story opens with a scene between famous scientist Sir Charles Darwin and Queen Victoria, whom he addresses as Vicky. So already you've got to love the story. Apparently there have been reports of strange goings-on at sea, and Her Majesty can only trust Darwin to investigate. It's smart, funny, compelling, and I don't think you should miss the winner of the first Under the Sea Writing Contest.
That's awesome, and congratulations from the corner booth. That's pretty awesome that you were able to not only put on an incredible contest, but get the amazing Rebecca Skye to
the score, man.
Awesome. Completely. Ms. Ashley McCowan.
Okay. Hopefully I don't freeze here. So sorry, I'm really blurry. My shout out this week has already been done, but it's going to be Living with the Choices We Make by Sally Mason at Sally Mason XX. And I just really enjoyed, I read the first few chapters, and I just thought it was a very striking tale of sort of domestic violence, and I was kind of flipped through the opening chapters between classes, and I just was completely transfixed by it. So the first scene, the main character is in therapy, but she's therapy in jail with a court-appointed therapist, and you kind of sense this sort of attitude and these underlying issues kind of boiling there. And so it was very kind of engaging. And I'll just leave the closing line. It says that over time she learned about the cycle of abuse the hard way. She even tried to break free. But in the end, she only saw one way out, and it will likely cost her everything. So.
Ooh, I like it a lot. Actually, was that a cell phone?
That was someone texted me, and my phone goes crazy when someone texts me.
She's lying.
She's
lying. You're getting a bunch of Tinder matches in Waco, Texas right now. Miss Aimee.
Okay, for my cream of sugar this week, I have Batman vs. Superman by Carl O'Connor.
Ooh, we love Carl O'Connor.
Oh, yes, we do. I love that man. It is an awesome alternate version of a story behind these two superheroes. And since it's Carl O'Connor, you can expect this gothic, dark feeling into it. It's a fun story to read, and it's filled with great details and a tremendous storytelling.
Thank you so much, Aimee. Absolutely. We love Carl. Carl, if you're watching this broadcast, we do love you. Let's see. Hang on. Give me one. I'm sorry. This kind of froze on me. All right. We are going to the meat of the broadcast, which we call the entree. It's just a series of questions that this panel answers every single week. Because we have a massive panel, we are breaking this up slightly. So for question number 1, this is for Kelly, Brittany, Ashlyn, and Catherine. Last year, after submitting the story, which ultimately earned you a Watty Award, what did you do while you awaited the results? So I'm going to start with Miss Kelly.
All right. So after submitting Captured, I definitely did a little happy dance and a nervous dance. Thought about it and checked and updated constantly. However, I realized that I needed to take the momentum that Captured had and move that kind of maybe aim it towards a new book that I started working on. So I started working on a new book called Under, and it was also kind of a young adult, new adult crossover horror. And I put the first chapter up of Under at the very end of Captured and just said, hey, I'm working on this new book. Here's the first chapter. If you like it, please come check it out. And I think it really helped keep my mind off of waiting. And it gave me something new to work on and something new for my fans to read. So I definitely think it's okay to take a little break, but capitalize on the success that you've had first.
Absolutely. And that's going to take me over to Miss Brittany Charmentane, the evil overlord herself.
Okay, so I tagged my story the way I thought I was supposed to do it, but I really wasn't sure I had done it right. So the first thing I did was started worrying about whether I had tagged it correctly. Then once I got over worrying about that, I started worrying about, I shifted the chapter order, and I thought, well, maybe that will disqualify me. So I managed to worry about that for a while. Gavin, aka the orangutan, was really helpful to try to calm me down about those two things. He's always super nice, and he didn't make me feel like too much of an idiot. But anyway, so then I pretty much lived a normal life until the end of January, and I don't think I knew when the winners would be announced exactly. So I just kind of hoped every day we would find out. But then the morning we did find out, I woke up really early. I grabbed my iPad, my eyes still full of sleep, and there was a PM from Wattpad, and it said something, I had like a vague recollection that it said something like, congratulations, you won a Watty. But it really did not sink in at all. It took about 5 minutes, and then, of course, a lot of happiness ensued after that. The hardest part was actually, I won an HQ Love Watty, and those were announced very first. But then the other Watties were announced over, I can't remember if it was like a week-long period or something. Waiting to see if my friends won Watties was even harder. So my poor fingernails took a lot of abuse, but in the end, a lot of my friends won, and it was an awesome experience. And good luck to all of you guys out there.
So Brittany, she wants some of that the enamel that helps your nails like protect them or something. I don't know. I don't really worry about that.
They're okay now though. Everything's fine.
Miss Ashley McCowan for Stained Glass Souls. If you could answer the first question.
All right. So after I put my story in, I literally had this moment where I just sat there for a good 5 minutes, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did this. I'm insane. I'm never gonna win. And then I just kind of waited it out. I started working on a bunch of different projects, and when, sort of like Brittany, when the results were announced, I jumped on the page, and I was really excited. And then I didn't see my name or my story, and I was like, oh, that's it. I didn't win. And then 2 days later, I went back and checked, and it was like the weirdest thing, and there was my name, and I freaked out. And yeah, but it was a really cool experience, and just so much fun to see everyone that won, and just to be able to support all these people that I had seen write their books, and yeah, so.
Absolutely. Miss Catherine Arlene for The Boy in the Woods, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's right. Actually, this was my third Watties, and so I kind of had it in my head when the deadline was going to be for submitting. Usually it has been the end of October, and they surprised me when they announced it, and it was actually the end of December, or the middle of December, I think it was. And I had already in my head that I wasn't going to be able to enter my story, but that gave me an extra 6 weeks, and I thought, and when they had announced it, of course it was even earlier than that, so I realized I actually had a shot at finishing my story and getting it entered, because that year you had to have a completed story. So I wrote like crazy for a good couple of months and was posting chapters pretty much every 4 days. And so by the time I entered it, posted the last chapter and got it done, I was actually pretty burned out. And so I basically did nothing for a whole month after that of writing. And in the 2 previous years, I was had finished the story and was writing a new one when I had entered. So that was kind of different for me. And the thing that I didn't do was I didn't like, I didn't dwell or worry about whether or not I was going to win. I was like, once I kind of passed it on and the deadline had passed, it was out of my hands. And so I wasn't going to just be, like second guessing anything, or just let it go and move on with my life. And then when they started announcing the winners, it was over a week, and so every day I was checking, and there was like, oh no, I didn't win that one. And I think it was the fourth day that I won, and that was my first win, and it was obviously extremely exciting. Also, I was super excited for my friends and that had made it too. So that's my Watty story.
Well, thank you so much. And I think that was way across the board as far as when your friends win a Watty, because every single time that they announced awards, there was a huge, like, just a montage of comments from all of that Wattpadders' really close friends on the site, and they said some amazing things about each and every one. And that is kind of the community that you want to find in the first place, the ones that pick you up when you've fallen down and will celebrate the victories right alongside with you. Cheers, that mug in hand. And so that brings us to question number 2, and this is for Camille, Lindsay, and Francis. Aime, as well as Rita. Is there something you do after completing a story, aside from pat on the back? How do you unwind after the taxing process of storytelling? And I'm going to start with Camille.
I do a happy dance, big time around the house. I give my kids some false hope that they're going to see more of me, and that I'm actually done. And then I make my husband take me out to dinner, and I have a big old glass of wine, and and then I usually have a bunch of projects going on, so I just dive back into the next one.
Have you been on a panel with Michelle Hayes?
Have I been on with Michelle before?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Because I think that you two would get along really, really well, just by the way that you guys are, the way that you were talking about, my kids are going to have this false hope. My husband's definitely going to take me out. Oh, really nice. Absolutely. That is so Michelle Hayes. Miss Lindsay Lippincott, and, you can share this with Francis, I think.
Well, for me, after I finished my very first story, which was Shadow's Edge, I actually just, curled up in a ball and did nothing. It was really weird. Finishing the first story was kind of like one of those, depression things. So it's and I had, no, I didn't want to write something else. I was like, well, now I need to start the sequel. And I was like, but I really don't feel like it. So I kind of forced myself out of doing that. But then now when I finish one, I guess I don't think it's anything special because I just have another one that's sitting there waiting for me, especially because I'm writing 3 at a time. So it's like I'm not actually ever really done.
You need to relax. Well, I say you need to relax, but before the broadcast, Lindsay and Francis, they were moving bottles of alcohol out of their dorm or into their dorm. Yeah. I think they know exactly how to relax. Francis, what about you?
Basically, well, like Lindsay, I always have a multiple projects going on, but usually Netflix helps. I just start watching a lot of series or any sci-fi movies, zombie movies, anything, just to relax, take my mind out of writing or anything, and then just jump back when I feel like it, or when I say, oh, it's been about a month. Let's do it.
Yeah, I've been watching every season of Doctor Who, and so it's be time to get back to real life. Miss Aime.
Okay, I just sit back, relax, and smell the roses. Since I joined Wattpad, it's like a never-ending process. I'm always writing. When I'm not writing a novel, I'm writing short stories or I'm writing poems. And I write just for pleasure or for fun. So when I finish a story, I don't see it like a relieving thing. I just enjoy the beginning, the during, and the after of the writing thing. So I just see it as something fun since the beginning to the end. It's not like, oh, I finished. And of course, I also do the happy dance. But I do the happy dance all the time. while I'm writing, before I write. So, and of course, or drinking coffee or a nice glass of red wine.
Oh man, I would think that well, first of all, your happy dance would be more of a salsa rendition, and the wine would turn into a margarita. I don't know if that's just me playing stereotypes, but that's what I would do.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. And I may, as well as the rest of this panel, they will, I don't know how they do it, but while they're writing, it just helps them to also read at the same time with everything that Wattpad has to offer, because these ladies, they comment on everything. And it's really, really wonderful to see that even though they're working really hard on their stories and they're doing this, that, and the other, that they're still making time for the Wattpad community on a personal one-on-one basis. And for that, my hat is off to you, ladies. Rita, if you could finish off question number 2.
So honestly, I don't know what this word unwind is that you speak of, because that doesn't appear to be relevant in my world. Yeah, so after completing a story, the next step for me usually is just jumping into the next one. It's kind of a relief to finish something, but there's all these other stories in my head waiting to come out. So I think for like the last year and a half, I've just, jumped from finishing one to getting into the other one, and I guess that's probably why I have so many that were eligible this year for the Watties. It's not like that definitely was not my intent, and just was a happy coincidence it turned out that way. But it's just really fun, and I also don't want to get out of the rhythm. So it's not just capitalizing, like Kelly said, on the success, but also just on the momentum of actually the writing. So, and I've been writing for about 5 years, and I had a couple periods where I just took 6 months totally off for personal reasons of writing, and it was so hard to get back into it afterwards. So even just a couple 100 words a day and just keeping the story coming out just really helps to keep that. And for stories that I think I want to pursue publishing at, after a couple weeks, I'll just come back to those, start editing them, sometimes revising, and then getting into the wonderful querying process.
Yes, and I think sometimes that can be a more taxing process than just getting the story out in the first place, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's going to bring us to our third question this evening, and this is for everyone. I'm going to go in the same exact order. While the corner booth takes a 2-week breather, what do you plan on doing with the amazing platform known as Wattpad? Miss Kelly Ann Blount, who's having a little cameo appearance from a kitty. I believe that's who I keep seeing walking in front of the monitor.
My little
I actually read
over here. It's feeding time at the zoo.
Like a storm in an arc away. But I read a Yelp review this weekend, and it was about a Chinese food restaurant that's supposedly really good here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and the Yelp review was all the way, and but they said, funny, no stray cats around here. I got a little humor out of it. Sorry, Kelly. Sorry.
The vegetarian animal lover. Plans on. Now, well, during our break, so I want to promote Fever, which is my short story for Universal Pictures and Wattpad to help promote The Visit. I'm going to go see The Visit, which I'm really nervous about because I know it's going to be amazing, but I'm going to be very scared, so I'm trying to, pump myself up now so I'll make it into the theater and be okay. And then I really want to get writing some more. I've been working on some really cool special projects, and I'm excited to share those. And I need to get caught up on some of my reading. I just finished Kelly Armstrong's first novel. I think it was Bitten, and it's so good. And it's like the first of 10 books or something. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm going to do a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of promoting, and just count the days till we're back on.
That's right. That's how Kelly Ann Blount rolls. It's just reading, writing, rock and roll all the way. Miss Brittany Charmantine.
Okay, what am I going to do? Well, as we said before, I'm taking my walkcation, and I plan to. I've totally reconfigured the plot of the book. So it's a pretty major rewrite, and I realize that I am really a Watt addict, And if I tell myself, yeah, I'll only go on an hour a day, that it will never happen. An hour will turn into 4 hours. So I'm just going to take a little break, and then I'll come back rejuvenated and all ready for prime time.
Absolutely, and we're going to be so excited about that. Miss Ashley McCowan.
Okay. So ultimately, I'd like to write a new book. I'm tossing around a few ideas right now. I have one for a novella that I might be putting out within the next few weeks. I'm not really sure, but I'd like to say that I have a bunch of projects I can work on. But I finished The Eyes of September, which is my Watty's 2015 entry, and got really burnt out. So right now, I'm just kind of resting. I'd like to read, finally tackle my library. And then I'll also be promoting my project called No Seriously on Wattpad. Which is basically working to support authors who tackle tough topics in fiction. So that's kind of where I'm going to be heading with everything.
That's great. That's great. Miss Catherine Arlene. That mute button, I'm telling you, it's the bane of your existence.
It disappeared on me.
I was wondering if you could do the control. Is that working better for you, or?
I will try that next time.
Okay,
yeah. Normally I move my mouse and it shows up, but it was not being cooperative. I'm just going to continue with my ambassador duties and working on my story, The Man Behind the Iron Fence, which is the prequel to The Boy in the Woods. But other than that, really, it's just business as usual for me. I'm always busy on Wattpad and somewhat off Wattpad. So
there are three-dimensional people outside that I haven't seen in ages because I've been surrounded by the orange W. Miss Camille.
I'm going to be announcing the finalists in the team writing contest that I threw this summer on September 11th with the help of some awesome judges. And I'm also taking the plunge and going to be self-publishing. So I am handing my book over to an editor in a couple weeks. So I'm taking out the knife and the eraser and just hacking away.
It's always sadistic with you. It's always sadistic.
It feels painful.
Oh, yes, it can at times. Absolutely. Lindsay and Francis.
I will be finally going back, well, not finally going back into, but doing my ambassador duties more than I have been with school starting and everything. I've been a little bit slow on that front. And then I will be writing my stories that I've kind of had to put on hold for a while because of everything that's going on. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
What about you, Francis?
I don't know, I'll be living,
writing, that's always a pro.
Talking to people
the
more.
alternative is kind of rough.
Yeah, right. Death. It's so limiting, so I know.
Well, kudos. Like breathing, it's a priority to me too. Miss Ashley, or I'm sorry, I May.
I'll be missing you.
Aww.
No, of course, I'll keep reading and writing and hanging out a little bit on Wattpad.
Only a little, right? I can swear, like every time that I look through a news feed, I May is doing something on Wattpad. Something. It's awesome though. It's the best kind of problem to have. Miss Rita.
Well, I should be updating The Reluctant Pirate Queen, or bringing back a dystopian sci-fi that I pulled off last year, or starting to write my magical realism that I've put the cover and the blurb on, but haven't even started writing yet. So can you see a trend here? But I am actually under a serious deadline. I can't give any specifics yet, but I'm working on a short story commissioned by Wattpad that I'm super excited about. It's going to be so awesome, which will be posted starting in early October. So that's my focus right now until then.
Amazing. We'll definitely be looking forward to it, Rita. And that is going to take us to the portion of the broadcast which we call Pass the Salt. And it's a little way to give some extra flavor, a little bit of tang to this. It's an honest observation, opinion, quote, or factoid in 140 characters or less, making it, of course, tweetable. And Miss Kelly Ann Blount, what do you got for us?
Okay, so I've got a Stephen King quote, and it is, "I try to create sympathy for my characters, then turn the monster loose."
Ooh.
That
I
just
like it.
really resonated with me because I like to introduce characters and I like people to develop, actual feelings for them, and then all of a sudden have them be like, "Whoa, I did not see that coming." So.
Yeah, that's kind of the best thing, the best response to elicit, right? Feels good. Miss Brittany.
Okay, I also have a quote, and it is based on the title of this week's Corner Booth, about Now Breathe, and it's by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it says, "All good writing is swimming underwater and holding your breath."
I like it. It is incorporated to. It almost seems like F. Scott Fitzgerald was a mermaid. I don't know what's up with that. It's very selective. Ms. Ashlyn.
Okay. I have a quote too. Gotta make things interesting. Mine's not tweetable, just disclaimer, but I had to share it. Mary Tabor shared it with me a few weeks ago, and I've been waiting to share it because it's fantastic. It's by Franz Kafka, and it says, "I think we ought to read the kind of books that wound and stab us. If the book we are reading doesn't wake us up with a blow on the head, what are we reading for? So that it will make us happy? Good Lord, we would be happy precisely if we had no books, and the kind of books that make us happy are the kind we could write ourselves if we had to. But we need books that affect us like disaster, that grieve us deeply, like the death of someone we loved more than ourselves, like being banished into forest far from everyone, like a suicide. A book must be the axe for the frozen sea inside of us. That is my belief." So.
Whoa. Yeah, not tweetable, but definitely like prophetic. Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that, Ashlyn. Miss Catherine Arlene.
Well, mine kind of ties in with what I was saying about the Watties, but it's a great life lesson too, I think. Don't stress over what you can't change. Life is too short to make yourself miserable for no reason.
Absolutely. It's very short. And speaking of short lives, or at least it feels like it's been no time at all, but I somehow got here. Thank you, everybody, for the amazing 30th birthday wishes. They were by far the most unique that I've ever received. I know a lot of that has to do with the amazing community that's on Wattpad. Everything that has happened in this last year has been incredible. This broadcast, doing these broadcasts for the last 25 weeks, it was something that pulled me out of the darkest corner that I've ever had to face in my life, and I thank you for it. If you'd like to know a little bit more about it, you can always talk to me on it, because it's kind of a personal story. I don't mind sharing it, but volunteering it is a different story. Miss Camille.
I went with a quote too, surprise, surprise.
Man, you ladies and quotes, jeez, it's like you just had a breakup,
Sorry.
and now you're posting on Facebook, and of course,
I know, right?
Posting quotes.
So since I'm in the editing process, I went with my good friend Truman Capote. I believe in the scissors more than the pencil, and probably needs to be updated for these days. Maybe I believe in the delete button more than I do the keyboard or something, but it's a good sentiment.
Absolutely. I like it a lot. Miss Lindsay and then Francis.
Well, mine I'm sort of making up on the spot because I've been super busy and forgot about this part.
Yeah, I got really super busy because of that empty Smirnoff bottle that I saw earlier.
Okay, so mine is even when you're finished, you're still not finished, because it's kind of like, nothing is ever really finished. You just sort of say, oh, it's good enough, and put it to the side or do something. So, yeah.
What about you, Francis? You beg to differ because you're just like, if I stop doing what I'm going to be doing, if I stop living, it's going to be finished.
This is not my line, but what I'm going to say, but there's one that says, I don't know where I read it, probably for a homework or something, that says that, it says like, art is never finished, it is merely set aside, or it is merely forgotten. So you never finish doing painting a painting. Art never stops. You can modify stuff, but you set it aside because for you it is complete. Now my line is, your hero's quest is complete, Paladin. Now go, have a drink. Responsibly. It's just saying, like, once you complete something, or you think you completed something, and you feel good with what you've done, you can go relax a bit, pat yourself in the back, relax.
Absolutely. And it's kind of the title of the episode, Breathe. I am very, very guilty of running 90 to nothing, and a lot of people kind of can see that at the top of the broadcast when I'm just trying to get out so much information. And I do that, well, honestly, because I have no idea how else to talk. I'm a fast talker. But it's also, I think, everything that the panel has shared tonight, it's been a true testament to the fact that it is okay to unplug. It is okay to give yourself a little bit of space, even if that space is, just simply spending time with your family or doing, one of those treat yourself moments. It's really wonderful. It's definitely a necessity. So make sure that you carve out the time for that. I may.
Sit back and smile. Have some wine. It's time to write your best story.
I like it. It's always time. It's always time. And Miss Rita, the last past the salt of season 1.
Woohoo. Okay, so I heard this one from one of the supporting actors on Outlander during an interview he gave, and I really loved it, so I wanted to share it with you guys. It goes, "Tell people the story they want, just not in the way they expect."
Ooh. That's brilliant. I love it. I love it. All right, everybody, that brings us to the wind-up. It is check, please. It's just kind of a moment for us to package all this together. Like I said, 25 episodes, and you all made it happen, because I think that if we didn't see the response that we got at the very beginning of doing these, I don't know if we would have continued to do them. At first, I had 5 mapped out, and I thought, okay, I'll kind of figure out the rest later. And then as soon as the first one aired, even though if you watch episode 1, no, your fire alarm is not going off. That is somebody else's fire alarm. I know. But it's amazing to see what we have done in the last 25 weeks. And it's not just what the corner booth itself has done. It's what each panelist has done themselves. And we have about, 12 minutes to go. But there are 2 things that I want to talk about before I give this panel just kind of one last chance to get a little jab in. First of all, you have what we've been talking about this entire broadcast, which is the Watty Awards. And it is, like this panelist said, just an amazing, amazing experience from the time you hit submit to the time that the winners are announced. Yes, there are always going to be moments where you think, oh man, that story shouldn't have won, or man, this story didn't win and it should have. There are always going to be moments like that in any award, but that's when you really start getting to know the person on Wattpad, the person that is putting the words on the page for you, because maybe you didn't like the material, but that doesn't mean that you won't like the person. It's very rare for me to come on to Wattpad and then stumble across a user that's very active with the community, and I don't at least respect them. I mean, it's a different story if you're going on to everyone's story and telling them how much their stuff sucks or something like that. That's a different ballpark. But the people who are very active on the site, more often than not, they are incredible people. So it is definitely worth a chance, an opportunity to get to know them on a personal level, even if it's a digital one like what we do here. It will definitely change things. And also, I want to talk about Just Write It. It's a hashtag on Twitter. It's also a contest for the Watty Awards, or at least a sub-contest. It will have its own Watty during the month of September. Every single Tuesday, we are going to be doing a writing sprint Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. So that is going to start this Tuesday. You will see a tweet on Monday with all of the details, but it will be 1 hour. We're going to do 3 sprints with little breaks in between. It should be a lot of fun, so we hope to see you there. It will the Just Write It program. It's 10,000 words. It's a pledge to write 10,000 words in 30 days. That being said, with those 10,000 words that you're putting on the page, I think getting to 10,000 is a remarkable feat in itself. So even if you don't win a Watty, not everybody can win one, but even if you don't, that's an incredible accomplishment. So I hope that you walk through us for the month of September and see what your words can do, what you can do with the 26 letters of the alphabet. It's really incredible. And like I said, we got 10 minutes left, panel. I kind of want to know just if you could give a brief sentence about what the Corner Booth has done for you with Season 1. We have panelists here that have been on through the entire thing. They've seen this through, and we have panelists that have kind of just gravitated toward the project, and we are so grateful for it. But I'm just going to go down the line, starting with Aimee and ending at Rita. And if you could just tell Wattpad Nation what the Corner Booth has done for you.
Oh, I'm the first one?
You are the first.
Oh, excellent. Of course, it has been amazing, an amazing experience. I really never imagined to be this involved into the community. As you said, I'm always doing something constantly in Wattpad. But to get to this part of the experience has been totally amazing. It's just fantastic. I have met so many wonderful people. I have joined like contests like the one that Brittany organized, and I also read the Wattpad, the blog Wattpad party. It's been an amazing experience.
That's great. I'm glad that you were able to get in touch with those panelists and had some good experience with them on an individual basis. That's really cool. Ashlyn.
All right. So the Corner Booth has given me an amazing community of writers, so thank you guys. It's been awesome. And really, it's allowed me, I think, to step outside kind of my comfort zone of reading and writing and to experience like this whole community of people and just readers and writers, and to just kind of explore, you know, different ways of writing and different ways of telling stories. And so that's been absolutely amazing.
We're really glad that we could do that for you. Ms. Brittany.
Okay, so basically, yes, it's just meeting all of you guys has been an incredible experience. I have met people who are doing all sorts of different things on the site, and I probably wouldn't have met some of you any other way. I was so excited when Amy wrote a story for the writing contest, and you guys should all check it out. She was a finalist. She's an incredible writer. I'm sure you all know that already.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, unfortunately, I couldn't figure it out how to do it today, but when I'm watching the show, or sometimes when I'm on the show, the feed, the comments that are going on the sidelines with people who are watching it live are so hilarious and so fun and insightful, and I learn you know, almost as much from that as I do from what's going on the show. So I appreciate all of our watchers out there that are making their comments on the live feed.
They are some of the funniest people ever.
They are.
And I think the tangents are the things that make it.
Yeah.
Somebody did have a question about the writing sprints. If you just use our hashtag TCBWatt, like I said, I'll post details tomorrow, right before the Wattpad 4 chat, which happens at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then on Tuesday, it will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the the writing sprint. So as long as you use our hashtag, you'll be able to find it. Miss Camille.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I just forgot the question.
Oh, yeah, what the Corner Booth has done for you.
I'm sorry, it's so early. Yeah, I think that sometimes in Wattpad you get stuck in your own little area of the sandbox, and you don't really realize that there's a whole playground out there. So I felt like for a while I was stuck in my corner of my sandbox with my friends that I met initially when I joined the site. And through the Corner Booth, I've watched and learned and met so many new people, and I feel like I'm exploring the playground now, and, you know, it's been great.
Yeah, she's actually been helping me beat up the playground bullies that are giving me wedgies over by the kickball field. Oh, thanks, Camille. I appreciate that. Catherine.
Well, I have met some of the panelists before, but not very many of them. So for me, I've made a lot of new friends, and as Camille says, you kind of get, you know, you have your little community, and I think that through the Corner Booth, I've expanded a lot into, you know, finding new members of Wattpad. that have become good friends and great people to hang out with. And I think that the program in itself is just such a wonderful gift to the community because of all the information that people are getting from the episodes. And I really commend you, Nat, for doing this. I mean, this is a tremendous amount of work that you put into this. And your ability to make it fun and interesting and and just to get it together and put it out every week is amazing. So definitely my hat is off to you for that.
Well, it's really, I'm not going to say that it's no trouble at all. It's definitely a challenge every single week to find the time to do some of these broadcasts, and I have done them at very, very questionable places at times. But that's been half the fun. It's all about making sure that we give something back to a community that has given each of us so much. And I know that everybody has their personal testimonies on what Wattpad has done for them and why they do what they do and why they continue to write on this site, even when at times the times get tough. So yes, there have been several hurdles between episode 1 and episode 25, but I'm really, really happy that we were able to give you 25 weeks worth of episodes so that people hopefully can watch them during the downtime. And as we start season 2, we will always have the humility of, wow, we came from very humble beginnings because episode 1 through 5, you definitely saw some things, and I said it on numerous broadcasts, but we found really unique ways to screw up some of the broadcasts. So it's been really, really wonderful. So thank you, Catherine, for your kind words. Miss Kelly.
Hey, I love the corner booth. I came on as a guest. I can't remember which episode. I think it was 12 or 11. I came on as a guest to help promote the Wattpad block party, and then Nat so graciously asked me back again. Sorry, my dog is hungry.
He wants to be a part of this really badly.
And I had such a blast that I was talking to Lindsay, and I was like, dang, I wonder if I could come on a little more frequently, like be a regular. And she's like, yes, Nat. Nat so graciously said yes. So here I am, regular, hashtag TCB Watt, and I love it. So thanks so much for having me. I love.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a lot of fun, and just the fact that we need somebody to tend the stables. It's important.
I know. There's an uprising.
Lindsay and Francis.
For me, I would agree with what a lot of people have said about just meeting a whole bunch of new people to get to know, get to read, a bunch of people with fantastic works and fantastic personalities.
Yeah. And Francis?
For me, it's like, I've heard a lot about you guys, like from Lindsay, but I've never actually seen you or anything, so I guess that's kind of a cool thing. I get to see everybody and talk to them and be weird.
Yes, we have that in truckloads here. We have lots of weird. Miss Rita.
Sorry, looking for the mute again. It seems to be a common problem. Everyone has really said what I wanted to say. I mean, I think it's just generally meeting all the other panelists and interacting with them on another level that you don't, get just, on a writing site. So it adds another layer. But also the readers and the watchers as well. So the people who are watching on YouTube and interacting with them on days when I'm not a panelist, or even when I'm a panelist, and we can sneak over, like you said, and chat and interrupt them and answer their questions online as well. So it's awesome that we get to use all these media all at once, including like Twitter even. So it's awesome, and it's also helped me get a little bit better organized, preparing for the show and kind of thinking things through, where otherwise I would have just, done things a certain way and not think about, why am I writing this way or that way, or, am I a pantser or a planner? So I don't think I would have necessarily thought about that. So it kind of makes you find a little more out about yourself as well.
And that's what we wanted, Rita. We didn't want you just to be discovered by other people. We wanted you to discover yourself, too. Very important. But, again, thank you for an amazing season. We will miss you for this 2 weeks, but it's definitely going to be I think well earned. I think all of the entire panel, we've definitely earned a 2-week break. It'll just be a little vacation. Want to leave you with these words: write fearlessly right now. It's going to be hopefully something that turns into a little bit of a slogan for us, a motto. And not only that, but always keep in mind that you don't have to press Control B or Command B or however you do it on a Mac to write bold. Take chances and just share your story with the world, because the worst story is the one unshared. We have had so much fun. Please subscribe to our channel. We will see you at the end of the month. If panel, could you tell Wattpad Nation good night for the very last time?
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in 2 weeks.